뭐야 이거?
총 더 있어요.
That morning, Officer Lee Do was on patrol when he received a call about traffic congestion caused by a minor crash. So-yeon, a nurse who had just finished a night shift, dozed off behind the wheel and bumped into the car in front. Lee Do quickly asked the driver of the other car to pull over, then offered to arrange a substitute driver for So-yeon. However, she refused, insisting she felt awake and would drive herself. But sometimes, all it takes is one decision to set off everything that follows. This is Trigger. Meanwhile, on a train, a vendor moved through the carriages selling what appeared to be a pistol. A foreign woman panicked and urged everyone to leave, fearing that real firearms were being sold. The vendor calmly explained that in Korea, civilians are not allowed to carry guns. Shortly after, Jong-tae noticed a man sitting in a priority seat that a pregnant woman needed. When Jong-tae asked the man to give up his seat, the man shouted and ignored her. Not wanting to cause a scene, the pregnant woman told Jong-tae she would get off soon and thanked him for his concern. When Jong-tae arrived on campus, his professor reprimanded him for being late and openly mocked him in front of the class. Jong-tae showed no reaction, but then his mind shifted suddenly to a dark fantasy. He imagined pulling a rifle from his bag, shooting the professor, then firing at the students before turning the gun on himself. Later, during a counseling session, Jong-tae told his psychiatrist that the voices in his head were growing louder. He felt depressed after failing the civil service exam 10 years in a row. The psychiatrist explained that a healthy mind would not lose control like that, but reassured Jong-tae that medication could help him manage these dangerous impulses and keep him from pulling the trigger. Elsewhere, police and forensic teams examined the body of a man found hanging in his home. Detective Hyung-ju discovered several bullets in the man's pants pocket, which raised suspicion since civilians are not allowed to possess firearms. He quickly called Lee Do, his senior and firearms expert. When Lee Do arrived, he immediately identified the bullets as illegally obtained, explaining they were rare military rounds that were difficult to acquire. While inspecting the scene, Lee Do noticed something unusual about the ceiling. He broke through it and uncovered more hidden bullets. That night, Lee Do reported the discovery to his superior, Hyun-sik. Hyun-sik advised him to stay out of the investigation and leave it to Hyung-ju. Lee Do agreed, wanting to avoid firearms after a tragic military incident years earlier. The next day, Lee Do and his partner Jong-woo responded to complaints about an elderly woman protesting in front of a building. Jong-woo politely warned her, but she argued that she was within her rights. Lee Do knew the woman well. Calling her Mrs. O, he explained that she was demanding justice for her son, who had died in a workplace accident long ago. The company had covered up the incident and forced a quick cremation to avoid police scrutiny. Mrs. O continued to fight for the truth, but the company accused her of disrupting business. Since then, Lee Do had been supporting her by ensuring her protests stayed legal and occasionally bringing her food. Meanwhile, Jong-tae grew upset when food he stored in the hostel refrigerator went missing. The hostel manager dismissed his concerns. Jong-tae also reported a tenant who regularly brought a woman into his room, violating hostel rules. Instead of addressing the issue, the manager scolded Jong-tae harshly.
그 좋은 걸 왜 혼자 즐겨? 바로 나 불렀어야지. 방구석에 처박혀서 공부만 하지 말고.
Jong-tae also confronted Hwang, the occupant of room 308, for smoking despite the ban. Hwang pushed and hit Jong-tae. Frustrated and struggling to control himself, Jong-tae pulled out a pistol and aimed to shoot Hwang from behind a wall. He hesitated, battling his impulses. At the same time, maintenance worker Ji-young arrived at a house for a routine inspection. The homeowner, Won-sung, invited her inside. As Ji-young worked, Won-sung watched her closely, clearly attracted. Soon, Ji-young noticed an electronic ankle bracelet on Won-sung, typically worn by former sexual offenders, and grew fearful. She hurried to finish her work, but Won-sung blocked her exit, intending to attack. Just then, Lee Do and Jong-woo arrived, allowing Ji-young to escape. They had come after reports of unstable ankle bracelet signals from Won-sung. Lee Do comforted Ji-young in the car and advised her to check the sexual offender list before future home visits. Meanwhile, Jong-woo inspected Won-sung's ankle bracelet, unaware that Won-sung was holding a sharp wooden chopstick, ready to strike. Lee Do arrived just in time and subdued Won-sung. Back at the police station, Jong-woo was handed a pistol for protection, while Lee Do chose to carry a taser. Meanwhile, Jong-tae was studying in his room, but grew increasingly frustrated by the noise coming from the tenant next door and his girlfriend. After his warnings were ignored, Jong-tae fired repeatedly at the wall until it finally broke through. When a woman called the police for help, Jong-tae grabbed her phone and contacted the authorities himself, providing the hostel's address and urgently warning them to come quickly. Then he stormed into the neighboring room, killing both the man and his girlfriend. He also shot Huang and the hostel manager as they attempted to call for assistance. The scene shifted to a flashback of a young Lee Do returning home to find his family murdered. Hyun-sik, a newly assigned officer, rushed to protect him but acted carelessly. Lee Do managed to steal Hyun-sik's pistol and confronted the killer while he was in prison. The man dared Lee Do to shoot, but Hyun-sik intervened just in time. Back in the present, Jong-tae continued his massacre, shooting innocent residents of the hostel. Police tried to rescue survivors and corner him, but Jong-tae, armed with multiple weapons, fired at them without hesitation. When Lee Do arrived, he quickly assessed the situation and saw that Jong-tae was using an M4 rifle. Lee Do devised a plan to make Jong-tae run out of ammunition while Jong-woo and other officers rescue those hiding. Initially, the plan worked. However, Jong-tae soon realized the rescue attempt and began firing wildly, injuring Jong-woo. As Jong-tae prepared to finish him off, Lee Do arrived just in time and knocked him unconscious. While the police and forensic teams investigated, Lee Do searched Jong-tae's room. Under the mattress, he discovered more automatic rifles. Drawing on his experience as a former soldier, Lee Do expertly assembled the rifles and explained their details to Captain Yoon and other officers. He revealed that these weapons were commonly used by U.S. Special Forces in warfare and counterterrorism. The bullets found earlier in the ceiling matched those rifles. Recognizing the connection between the cases, Captain Yoon ordered a deeper investigation. Elsewhere, gangster boss Suk-ho forced his business partner, Mr. Kim, to hand over ownership of his bar. When Kim refused, Suk-ho's men brutally beat him until he signed the transfer papers. Afterward, Suk-ho ordered his men to eliminate Kim and clean up the bar. The next day, Jong-tae told Lee Do that he had received the rifles in a parcel, but had no idea who sent them. Lee Do urged Jong-tae to be honest if he felt any guilt over the killings. However, Jong-tae dismissed any sense of remorse, calling the victims trash who deserved to die. He added that many people possessed weapons, and it was the police's job to find them. After the interrogation, Hyung-ju questioned why someone would send such expensive, hard-to-get weapons to Jong-tae for free. Lee Do insisted they needed to investigate further, especially if Jong-tae was telling the truth about widespread armed individuals. Meanwhile, at high school, bullies targeted a young man named Gajin because he had failed to take photos of girls. His friend Yeongdong arrived and tried to appease the bullies by offering packs of cigarettes. Both Gyujin and Yeongdong were often harassed by a group led by Sung-joon, who demanded Yeongdong buy him a motorcycle to stop the bullying. Elsewhere, Won-sung returned home to find a package containing rifles he had ordered some time ago. He was shocked to discover that the shipment included more than one rifle, especially considering their high cost. That night, Mr. Kim tried to convince Jong-man, one of Suk-ho's men sent to kill him, to spare his life. Kim argued that Suk-ho would never share his business with Jong-man, valuing his right-hand man more. Kim promised to help Jong-man overthrow Suk-ho and take control, mentioning that the many weapons circulating in the country could be their advantage. Distrustful, Jong-man called Suk-ho but was ignored. Frustrated, Jong-man beat Kim until he passed out. The following day, Won-sung secretly practiced shooting near a military zone, cleverly masking his shots with nearby training gunfire. His skills revealed he was a former sniper. Meanwhile, Jong-man met with Suk-ho to discuss business. One of Jong-man's men, Woo-tae, sneaked into Suk-ho's office searching for the weapons Kim had mentioned. Suk-ho declared that he would hand the business over to his right-hand man, shocking Jong-man, who had expected to inherit it himself. Suk-ho claimed the business was not suited for Jong-man, but offered him another opportunity. Deeply disappointed, Jong-man was further insulted by Suk-ho's words. Soon after, Jong-man sent men to investigate the hostel where the recent shooting had occurred, while he and Woo-tae searched for Mr. Kim's car. At the same time, Gyujin visited his mother at a small eatery and asked for money. She told him to take it from her purse. Gyujin had been ordered by Sung-joon to steal his mother's ID card but had refused. As punishment, Sung-joon and his gang beat Gyujin badly at a karaoke bar. Meanwhile, Jong-man and Woo-tae found Mr. Kim's car. When they opened the trunk, they discovered a pistol and bullets inside. Jong Man wanted to take the pistol, but Wu Tae warned that dealing with guns would only bring chaos. Unconcerned, Jong Man, fed up with being Suk-ho's subordinate and constantly belittled, took the pistol. He told Wu Tae that this was their chance to change everything. That night, still suspicious about Jong Tae's claim that the weapons arrived by parcel, Lee Do quietly investigated several packages near the crime scene. During his search, he encountered some of Jong Man's men, who claimed they were merely collecting cardboard boxes to resell. While checking the boxes, Lee Do noticed a sticker on one of Jong Tae's parcels that matched one he had seen on a delivery to Won Sung's house. He immediately rushed there and called Hyung-ju. Coincidentally, Hyung-ju was also pursuing Won Sung, who had cut off his electronic ankle bracelet and left his phone behind, making capture difficult. At Won Sung's house, Lee Do found the place dark and sensed someone was inside. He chased down the intruder and knocked him unconscious. The man introduced himself as Moon Baek and explained that he had been sent to retrieve a package. Moon Baek said he did not know Won Sung personally, but had received a package containing bullets and a list of addresses. Curious, he visited Won Sung's address only to find the package there had already been opened. At the same time, Hyung-ju called to report that Won Sung had fled. Lee Do checked the CCTV footage to verify Moon Baek's story. Suddenly, they spotted someone entering the house. They chased and knocked unconscious Wu Tae before resuming their search for Won Sung. With Moon Baek's help and guidance from CCTV staff, Lee Do tracked the armed Won Sung. During the pursuit, Lee Do briefly answered a call from Mrs. Oh, but was too busy to talk for long. They nearly lost Won Sung in a crowded area, but CCTV footage showed he was heading toward the police station. Lee Do recalled Won Sung's earlier threat for revenge and warned Captain Ju to tighten security. Captain Ju mentioned that Won Sung might target him personally because he was the one who arrested him. However, the warning came too late. Won Sung arrived and opened fire inside the station. Lee Do requested handcuffs to restrain Moon Baek in the car. Hearing the gunfire, Lee Do and Captain Ju rushed inside. Ju ordered Won Sung to surrender, but was shot, along with Lee Do. With only one pistol between them, a shootout was unavoidable. Lee Do grabbed weapons seized from Jong Tae and used himself as bait, allowing others to escape. Unfortunately, the plan was discovered, and Won Sung shot Captain Ju down. Meanwhile, Lee Do took bullets from Moon Baek's car and hurried to the evidence room to load rifles. Moon Baek, having freed himself, met reporter Wong, who wanted to know what was happening. Together, they decided to enter the station. Won Sung located Captain Ju and moved in to kill him, but a bodyguard distracted and wounded him. Lee Do arrived with loaded rifles, triggering a fierce gunfight. Unlike Won Sung's wild shots, Lee Do moved with precise skill, like a special forces soldier. Lee Do wounded Won Sung, who stumbled toward Captain Ju, putting the officer at great risk. Just as Won Sung aimed to kill Ju, Lee Do fired the fatal shot. The decision was difficult, but Lee Do did not want to kill if he could avoid it. Reporter Wong captured the entire event, including Lee Do's fatal shot. The next day, Wong's footage made headlines, went viral on social media, and sparked widespread discussion. Meanwhile, Lee Do faced interrogation for using illegal firearms and ammunition. He did not deny it, but argued that the emergency left him no choice. The interrogators brought up his military past, accusing him of seeking violence and claiming he had killed 100 people. Lee Do grew annoyed, seeing these accusations as irrelevant to the case. When the questioning became more aggressive, Captain Yoon stormed in, ordering Lee Do to leave. Yoon was furious that the hero was being treated like a criminal after saving 30 colleagues single-handedly. He was even angrier that there were plans to report Lee Do to the disciplinary committee. Yoon challenged them to prosecute him first if they wanted to go after Lee Do. Afterward, Lee Do thanked Captain Yoon for his support. Hyun-sik also arrived to shield Lee Do from reporters and escorted him home. The next day, Yong-dong suddenly appeared in class and struck Eugene, acting on Song-jun's orders to isolate him. Meanwhile, Lee Do faced the disciplinary committee and was suspended for 3 months. Despite the suspension, he continued coming to the station to ask about Wu Tae. Jong-woo informed him that Wu Tae was not present during the arrest, and CCTV footage showed a group of men rescuing Wu Tae and taking him away. Lee Do soon discovered that Wu Tae was part of Suk-ho's gang and planned to visit Suk-ho to gather information. Before leaving, he asked Jong-woo to secretly collect intelligence on Moon Baek, whom he still suspected despite Moon Baek's clean record. At Suk-ho's place, Lee Do questioned his involvement with firearms. Suk-ho denied any connection and instead showed off the knives his men carried. Lee Do warned him that if any evidence linked Suk-ho to guns, he would not hesitate to arrest him. Next, Lee Do visited Dongwol Industry, where Moon Baek worked as a sales manager. The company protected employee privacy, so Lee Do was unable to obtain any information. Later, he spotted Moon Baek leaving his apartment. Meanwhile, Jongman and Woo-tae plotted their next move. Mr. Kim, who had been saved by Jongman, revealed that many weapons were hidden across the country, with addresses listed in the packages. Kim explained that 10 trucks transported the arms, but only half a truck had been distributed so far. Although he communicated via telegram, Suk-ho had taken his phone. Kim urged Jongman to find the weapons before the recipients realized the packages contained guns. Elsewhere, Mrs. O began her day with offerings and protests, hoping to meet the company director. Eugene continued to suffer bullying from Song Jun's gang, who poured soup on him and sent insulting messages. On his way out, a courier handed Eugene a package. Inside, he found a pistol and looked stunned. The scene shifted to Lee Do meeting Moon Baek at a restaurant. Lee Do asked about Moon Baek's job at Dongwol Industry. Moon Baek admitted that they produced and tested bullets. Despite Korea's gun ban, the country is one of the world's largest bullet producers and exporters. Lee Do then asked what Moon Baek planned to do with the weapons. Moon Baek revealed that he had been diagnosed with cancer and had less than 6 months to live. He intended to do the unthinkable by shooting himself. Though suspicious, Lee Do pressed Moon Baek on how he obtained the bullets. Moon Baek said he had found a website offering free firearms. He ordered a pistol there, but the package contained only hundreds of bullets and a list of rifle owners' addresses. Lee Do tried to access the website but found it blocked. He asked Moon Baek to write down the addresses. One address shocked Lee Do because it belonged to Mrs. O. He rushed to her house while calling her. Meanwhile, Mrs. O confronted the company director in a basement parking lot. She politely asked to discuss their issues, but the director ordered his driver to attack her. In response, Mrs. O drew a pistol and fired several shots. The driver fled, leaving the director to face her wrath. The director begged for mercy, but Mrs. O told him he could ask his son in the afterlife before shooting him repeatedly, killing him. Soon after, Mrs. O called Lee Do to say the director had apologized. She returned home and apologized before her son's photo. When someone knocked, she thought it was Lee Do but found Woo-tae asking about the pistol. Shortly after, Lee Do arrived, followed by Moon Baek in his car. Seeing a van used by Woo-tae's gang, Lee Do told Moon Baek to keep watch. Inside Mrs. O's house, Lee Do was attacked by one of Woo-tae's men but managed to knock him down. Woo-tae appeared and snapped a photo of Lee Do to send to his gang. Meanwhile, Moon Baek confronted Woo-tae's men in the van, provoking them to chase him away from the house. Back inside Mrs. O's house, Woo-tae was not alone. His men appeared behind him. Woo-tae aimed his pistol at Lee Do, but Lee Do quickly disarmed him. A fierce fight broke out. Drawing on his experience as a former Special Forces soldier, Lee Do fought barehanded and easily overpowered Woo-tae's men, despite their knife attacks. Seeing this, Woo-tae called for backup, urging his men outside to rush in. Meanwhile, Lee Do found Mrs. O hiding, badly injured, in a closet. He told her to stay put while he dealt with the gangsters. Outside, Moon Baek tried to scare Woo-tae's men by pretending to ram them in his car. While Lee Do battled inside, Moon Baek confronted the gang outside, displaying surprising combat skills as he defeated the men in the van. In a one-on-one fight, Lee Do didn't hesitate to break Woo-tae's arms and legs after learning that Woo-tae had hurt Mrs. O. After the battle, Lee Do and Moon Baek rushed Mrs. O to the hospital. On the way there, Lee Do recalled Mrs. O's call from days earlier and felt guilty for not listening carefully when she was likely confused after receiving the pistol. Soon after, an angry Lee Do went to Suk-ho's place seeking revenge, but was blocked by Suk-ho's men and could not find him. Lee Do then ordered Hyung-ju to retrieve the address list from Woo-tae. While inspecting packages at Mrs. O's house, Lee Do explained that the list contained addresses of those who had ordered firearms. He concluded that the 3 firearm cases were connected and part of organized crime. Hyung-ju reported this to Captain Yoon. He explained that someone was sending weapons to civilians like Jong-tae, Won-sung, and Mrs. O, hoping they would use them and ignite chaos. The address list not only informed buyers about others who owned rifles, but also allowed criminals to track and control them. Sending packages directly to buyers helped avoid suspicion and ensure delivery. Captain Yoon ordered an investigation into everyone on the list and warned Lee Do to be cautious while suspended. Still, he thanked Lee Do for providing valuable clues. As Lee Do headed to the hospital, Jong-woo called to say Moon Baek had resigned from Dongwoo Industry a year ago due to terminal cancer, confirming Moon Baek's claim. At the hospital, Lee Do found Moon Baek waiting. Moon Baek asked why Lee Do called Mrs. Oh his mom if she wasn't his biological mother. Lee Do explained that Mrs. Oh treated him like a son, so he considered her his mom, especially after losing his own mother as a child. Moon Baek then shared that he never knew his mother because she had abandoned him as a baby. The scene shifted to the past, showing Moon Baek's mother approached by a woman posing as an orphanage manager. In reality, she was part of a child trafficking ring aiming to kidnap Moon Baek. At 6 years old, Moon Baek's left eye was taken to be sold. He was sent to a trafficking syndicate in the U.S. for organ harvesting. The FBI arrived just in time to stop the operation and rescue him. Back in the present, Moon Baek still vividly recalled the pain and trauma from being an illegal organ donor years ago. The next day, Song-joon grew furious when Gyu-jin ignored his orders and roughly pushed him. He then continued to intimidate Gyu-jin during class while the teacher lectured. Fed up with the bullying, Gyu-jin finally stood up and told Song-joon to stop harassing him.
수학 씨발려나 해 하라고
하지 말라고 하면 좀 하지 마.
Meanwhile, Suk-ho was angry to hear that Lee Do had attacked his men. He couldn't understand why Lee Do was targeting him, but his right-hand man realized that Lee Do had mistaken Woo-tae for one of Suk-ho's men. At the hospital, Lee Do told Moon Baek about a village destroyed by firearms. Once peaceful, the village had fallen into chaos after a man left guns there and vanished. The weapons disappeared as well, coinciding with shootings spreading everywhere. People began to suspect one another and started shooting anyone who seemed suspicious. When Moon Baek asked who had left the guns, Lee Do only said it was an Eastern man with blue eyes. Meanwhile, Jong-man arrived at the hospital to visit Woo-tae and others, but a heavy police presence blocked the ward, so he left. Later, Jong-man received intelligence on Lee Do and unexpectedly encountered him in an elevator. Seeking revenge for his beaten men, Jong-man secretly pulled a knife, but Moon Baek noticed and stepped between them to protect Lee Do. That night, Jong-man and his men followed Lee Do covertly, but halfway through, Suk-ho called and ordered Jong-man to come immediately. The scene shifted to the past, showing gangsters buying firearms. In an abandoned building nearby, a teenage Moon Baek ambushed and shot several gangsters hiding there. One of them was part of the syndicate that had tried to traffic Moon Baek years earlier. Hearing the gunfire, a gang led by Jake arrived and found Moon Baek wounded. Impressed by Moon Baek's actions, Jake saved him. Jake took Moon Baek home and arranged for a donor to replace his left eye. The new eye was blue, earning him the nickname the Blue-Brown since his right eye was brown. Jake revealed his weapons trafficking business and wanted Moon Baek involved, seeing great potential in him. Back in the present, Moon Baek removed a soft contact lens that hid his blue eye and watched him monitor tracking weapons he had distributed nationwide. Meanwhile, Jong-man arrived at Suk-ho's place, but was slapped and questioned about his involvement with firearms. Suk-ho showed him a photo of Woo-tae. Jong-man lied, denying that Woo-tae was his subordinate. Despite this, Suk-ho let him leave. Jong-man warned his men that the police were after them. Elsewhere, Hyung-ju and Lee Do secured over 20 rifles from the address list, but believed that hundreds were already in circulation. Facing a dead end, Lee Do texted Moon Baek to ask for the full address list. Moon Baek agreed, saying he was bored. One of Moon Baek's men warned him about Lee Do's secret investigation. Moon Baek decided to keep Lee Do alive for now, wanting to confirm something. That night, Moon Baek watched Gyu-jin and Yong-dong dining at a roadside stall. Yong-dong apologized for hitting Gyu-jin, who understood it was done to avoid bullying by Song-joon. Suddenly, thugs appeared and started a fight. Bystanders gathered and filmed the scene. Moon Baek grabbed an air rifle and blank bullets from a nearby shooting cafe. He broke through the crowd and began shooting the thugs one by one. He fired accurately amid the chaos and fought off the thugs alone. Impressed, Gyu-jin asked Moon Baek to teach him how to shoot properly. Moon Baek agreed and also offered to teach Yong-dong.
자, 여기.
The next day, Moon Baek called Suk-ho and told him to open the storage warehouse at Mr. Kim's office. When Suk-ho checked the boxes, he was shocked to find hundreds of rifles hidden inside. Moon Baek explained that all the rifles used in recent shootings had come from Mr. Kim. He warned Sukho that Jongman was searching for those rifles and urged him to act quickly before Jongman acquired more weapons to attack them. Moon Baek revealed that he had instructed his men to distribute the rifles through packages sent by elderly men who needed money. After delivering the packages, they photographed the recipients before receiving payment. Meanwhile, Moon Baek met with Lee Do to hand over the address list. He informed Lee Do that one of the rifle recipients was a high school student. Without hesitation, Lee Do and Moon Baek rushed to the school and told Hyungju to head there immediately. Lee Do also called a teacher to obtain the phone number of the student who had ordered the rifle. At the school, Gujin had brought the rifle but soon found it stolen by Song-jun. Thinking it was a toy, Song-jun frightened people by pointing the rifle at them. Gujin warned him not to shoot, but Song-jun ignored the warning, ordering his friends to hold Gujin while preparing to fire. Suddenly, gunshots erupted from another classroom. Panicked, Song-jun fired the rifle toward a window, only to realize it was loaded with real bullets. The shots were coming from Yeongdong, who had rifles and was attacking his bullies. He had locked all the doors and damaged the locks to trap everyone inside. Yeongdong handed Gujin a pistol and urged him to join the attack. Song-jun and his friends tried to escape, but found the doors locked and scrambled to find hiding spots. Lee Do and Moon Baek arrived and managed to open a door, allowing some students to flee. Inside, Yeongdong hunted and shot at students one by one. Song-jun and his friends barricaded themselves in the library, but Yeongdong broke through. Yeongdong ordered Song-jun and his friends to come out and told the others he would release them if they surrendered Song-jun's group. A teacher tried to persuade Yeongdong to stop, but he refused, saying his complaints about bullying had always been ignored. Yeongdong then shot the teacher and fired at the bullies. He cornered Song-jun, ready to end it. Lee Do arrived just in time, quickly subduing Yeongdong and securing his rifles. Song-jun tried to leave, thinking the ordeal was over, but Gujin appeared and fired his pistol, aiming at Song-jun. Moon Baek watched nearby, pleased that his plan had worked. The scene flashed back to Jong-woo checking CCTV footage to investigate Moon Baek. He handed an address list to staff who spotted Moon Baek at several locations. Jong-woo informed Lee Do, who had been suspicious all along. Back at the school, Gujin aimed to shoot Song-jun in revenge. Lee Do approached slowly and urged him to lower the pistol. He warned that killing would only destroy him. Gradually, Gujin lowered the gun and embraced Lee Do. Lee Do praised him for controlling himself. Soon after, police secured the scene. Injured students received emergency care and were rushed to the hospital. Parents flooded the school to check on their children. Gujin was taken into a police car just as his mother arrived, hysterical over him being named a suspect. Meanwhile, Hyungju and his team prepared to arrest Moon Baek under Lee Do's orders. Just as they were about to raid, Moon Baek vanished into the crowd. At the same time, Jong-woo informed Lee Do that the Moon Baek working at Dongwon Industry was not the same man he knew. Someone else was using Moon Baek's identity. Acting quickly, Lee Do rushed to Moon Baek's apartment and found a package addressed to him. Inside, he discovered rifles and an address list of buyers, including his own address. Meanwhile, recent shootings had stoked public fear, prompting the government and security forces to act swiftly. Elsewhere, Sukho hesitated. The organization's leaders strictly forbade firearms to protect themselves. They avoided risks because any firearm-related crime would trigger military intervention, where threats were met with deadly force. Captain Yoon was furious that Moon Baek had slipped past their surveillance. He ordered the team to accelerate the search and assigned Lee Do to lead the investigation. Soon after, Sukho called Lee Do, reporting that the rifles were stored in a warehouse at Mr. Kim's bar, a business Sukho had recently taken over. Wanting to avoid further trouble with guns, Sukho handed the case over to Lee Do. Meanwhile, police securing rifles found imposters disguised as officers visiting buyers to collect weapons. To tackle the nationwide firearms problem, the government formed a joint task force composed of police, military, and other agencies. Still, Captain Yoon pressed on, focusing on finding Jongman and Mr. Kim. He also requested the police commissioner's assistance to track Moon Baek. Later, Sukho visited Jongman's hideout in an abandoned building. Jongman's men quickly hid the rifles, and Mr. Kim disappeared. Lee Do and Hyungju monitored the situation from a distance. When Sukho mentioned Mr. Kim, Jongman panicked, fearing exposure. Sukho ordered Jongman to cut off Mr. Kim's fingers to unlock his phone and uncover who had sent the rifles. Before leaving, Sukho called Lee Do to report everything. He was certain Mr. Kim was alive, but being hidden by Jongman. The next day, Jongman and his men dug grave for those who opposed Sukho. Some of Sukho's men watched from afar, reporting all movements. Sukho planned to eliminate Jongman with police help. The police prepared to arrest Jongman and Mr. Kim, but the pair had a plan to deceive the police and take revenge. After digging graves on a vacant lot, Jongman and some men cleaned up at a public bathhouse. Sukho's men sneered at them, but Jongman stayed silent and left. Instead of fleeing, Jongman and his men armed themselves with rifles. Meanwhile, Mr. Kim disguised himself as Jongman to mislead the police. Mr. Kim stormed into Sukho's office and drew his pistol, sparking a shootout. Sukho, still standing, called Jongman to ask his location. Jongman replied that it didn't matter. He was inside Sukho's office, taking all the cash from the safe. Jongman tricked Sukho and Mr. Kim into killing each other while he seized their weapons and money. When Hyungju arrived, he found both men dead and called Lee Do, reporting that Jongman was missing. Watching Jongman's hideout, Lee Do readied his rifle as Jongman and his men arrived. Lee Do incapacitated one of Jongman's men, but gunfire alerted the others. A shootout followed. Lee Do subdued several men, but Jongman escaped with the rest. Determined to stop him, Lee Do climbed to the rooftop and used his sniper skills to disable Jongman's vehicle. He fired at the tires, causing the vehicle to crash into a parked car. Jongman and his men were injured. As Jongman tried to flee, Lee Do fired a long-range shot, hitting his shoulder and disabling him. Soon after, police arrived to arrest Jongman and his men. Elsewhere, Moon Baek received a video call from Jake, who was growing increasingly anxious about their plan. Jake warned against involving the Korean intelligence service, fearing that their cooperation with the CIA would escalate the situation and threaten their firearms business. He urged Moon Baek to wrap things up and return to the United States before the chaos deepened. Meanwhile, Hyun-sik was devastated after learning that his only daughter had suddenly died. Refusing to accept the news, he repeatedly called her number, hoping for an answer. At the same time, Lee Do discovered a small chip inside Jongman's pistol. He took it to his friend Ji-hoon, who explained that it was an advanced GPS combined with a bugging device. The bug could only activate when paired with a matching device installed on each rifle. Both devices had to work together for effective surveillance. With this knowledge, Lee Do checked the rifles they had seized and found the chip on all of them. Elsewhere, the National Intelligence Service held a meeting to discuss the recent shootings. An agent briefed them on the International Rifle Union, a secret group supplying illegal weapons to conflict zones worldwide. The IRU sold firearms to those who could not obtain rifles through official channels. They wielded massive influence among U.S. politicians and corporations, making them nearly untouchable. The briefing revealed that Blue Brown, the mastermind behind rifle distribution in South Korea, was none other than Moon Baek. Meanwhile, at the hospital, So-yeon was harshly reprimanded by her senior for leaving the station despite nurses being expected to remain on duty. So-yeon argued that her shift had ended and she was exhausted after several night shifts. Her senior ignored her explanation and intensified the mental pressure. Unknown to them, Moon Baek overheard the conversation because So-yeon was secretly storing a weapons package in her locker. Moon Baek smiled quietly, wondering when she would pull the trigger. Soon after, Wong visited Moon Baek, who openly shared his plan to sow chaos nationwide through firearms. Moon Baek paid Wong a large sum along with a pistol to capture every moment people used their rifles. After Lee Do removed all the chips from the rifles, he realized the other device needed to activate the bug was a mobile phone. Meeting with NIS agents, Lee Do learned more about the IRU's tactics before the chaos began. The hundreds of bullets found above a man's ceiling marked the start of the IRU's method. That man, found dead by hanging, had been involved in a child trafficking syndicate and was responsible for kidnapping Moon Baek's left years ago. The bullets signaled Moon Baek's intent to destroy the country that had abandoned him. The agents also believed Moon Baek had a reason for approaching Lee Do. Setting aside the past, Lee Do shared information about the chip with the agents. He suggested tracking its signal to find Moon Baek's base. Suddenly, Moon Baek appeared on their monitor, having hacked their system. He called Lee Do, revealing he knew about their investigation because he had bugged the joint unit conversations. Some insiders secretly held rifles from Moon Baek's network. Moon Baek then gave Lee Do an address and warned him to choose quickly. While checking CCTV, Lee Do spotted Hyun-sik in a car. Hyun-sik appeared ready for revenge following his daughter's tragic death, which was tied to a property scam. As Lee Do pursued Hyun-sik, NIS agents rushed to the location where Moon Baek had last hacked the system. They found another man there, but Moon Beck had vanished. Meanwhile, Hyun-sik confronted property scammers at a karaoke bar. Furious that the police had released them due to lack of evidence, he blamed them for his daughter's death and opened fire with a rifle from the package. One scammer fled, but Hyun-sik chased him down and cornered him in front of a shop. Police arrived and ordered Hyun-sik to surrender. Upstairs, Wong and his team recorded everything, planning to make the footage go viral on Moon Beck's orders. Lee-do soon arrived and tried to talk Hyun-sik down, telling him that violence wouldn't bring his daughter back. Hyun-sik insisted it could ease the pain of other victims. Lee-do didn't give up, recalling the time when Hyun-sik stopped a young Lee-do from seeking revenge after his family's murder. He credited Hyun-sik for saving his life and said he would be devastated if anything happened to him. Just as it seemed Hyun-sik was convinced to drop his weapon, Moon Beck and his men arrived, opening fire on the police. Moon Beck shot at Lee-do, but Hyun-sik shielded him and was hit. Lee-do fought back fiercely until he collapsed beside Hyun-sik. In that moment, Lee-do remembered when Hyun-sik took his pistol away and embraced him. To Lee-do, Hyun-sik was the best father he ever had after losing his biological dad. Moon Beck approached the dying Lee-do, mocking him for killing one to save many, and reminded him that Lee-do was once a mercenary who killed without hesitation. However, Moon Beck spared him, wanting Lee-do to witness the new world he had created, a world where people never hesitate to pull the trigger. Moon Beck then instructed Wong to film his confession. He revealed himself as the mastermind behind the shootings. He declared that firearms were now free for anyone, regardless of their background. He claimed he wasn't forcing anyone, but was giving people the power to protect themselves. His speech went viral, sparking a nationwide rush to order guns. Meanwhile, Lee-do was rushed to the hospital and fell into a coma. The spread of firearms and ammunition spiraled out of control. Guns were flaunted openly, even used in public places. A woman shot someone in a courtroom. Vendors sold guns like cheap goods. A little girl accidentally mistook a pistol for a toy and became a victim. Citizens stayed indoors for safety as shootings rose. The government declared a national emergency, but demand for legal guns soared, fueling even more chaos, exactly as Moon Beck had planned. Elsewhere, Moon Beck gathered gangster bosses. He threw a pistol onto the table and declared that whoever grabbed it first would become his partner. Choi won, but quickly discovered the pistol was empty. Suddenly, Moon Beck's men killed everyone except Choi. Lee-do woke from his coma and immediately asked for Hyun-sik. Jong-woo told him that Hyun-sik had died. Later, Lee-do held a funeral for Hyun-sik and his daughter, as they were his only surviving family. Wong informed Moon Beck that Lee-do had regained consciousness. Meanwhile, the Joint Investigation Unit learned of a pro-gun legalization rally spreading rapidly on social media. Anti-gun groups protested as well, forcing security to tighten guards to prevent clashes. At the hospital, So-yeon was still bullied by her senior, who even slapped her. Exhausted and broken, So-yeon took a pistol, quietly planning her revenge. After the funeral, Lee-do headed to the pro-gun rally, which had swelled to over 10,000 people. Security forces braced for violence, deploying every available resource to prevent clashes. Meanwhile, Lee-do received a call from Moon Beck, who explained why he had chosen Lee-do. Both shared a past marked by rifles, even though Lee-do had vowed never to use guns again. Lee-do dismissed him as a cunning dealer profiting from fear. Moon Beck smirked, proud that his plan to make people crave rifles had succeeded. He claimed that rifles, not pity, gave people real power. Lee-do called it hell, a place of endless killing. Moon Beck did not care. He had a surprise ready. Suddenly, a truck crashed into the square, filled with rifles. Moon Beck announced that anyone could take them. The crowd surged onto the truck, grabbing weapons as chaos erupted. Despite his injuries, Lee-do fought Moon Beck's armed men alone. He defeated the mercenaries and pursued Moon Beck. Outside, Wong filmed the chaos from every angle, much to Moon Beck's satisfaction. Security forces struggled to control the riot. Citizens resisted, claiming they needed guns to protect themselves. The fight over weapons and authority played out live, exposing humanity's darkest side when armed. Smoke bombs exploded in the crowd, shrouding the area in thick haze. Moon Beck and Lee-do faced off, pistols in hand. Instead of shooting, Moon Beck vanished into the smoke, followed by a gunshot. Lee-do found Moon Beck already wounded. Gunfire erupted everywhere. Screams and desperate pleas filled the air as the scene transformed into a battlefield. Moon Beck achieved his goal, but was badly injured. Amid the chaos, Lee-do heard a crying boy. Dodging bullets, he reached and protected the child. Wong captured the rescue from hidden vantage points. At the hospital, So-Yun, shocked by the shooting, abandoned her plan for revenge. The mass shooting claimed over 70 lives and left many injured. The death toll continued to rise. The video of Lee Do saving the boy went viral, earning widespread praise. Days later, the community held a prayer for the victims and launched a petition to ban firearms. Many surrendered their weapons, including So-Yun. Meanwhile, Wong faced consequences for his firearm articles when a grieving woman, seeking revenge, fatally shot him. Lee Do visited Moon Baek in the hospital, who remained comatose. Doctors said his cancer had spread and survival chances were slim. A blonde woman armed with a weapon approached Moon Baek's room. Nearby, Jake met with businessmen, smiling knowingly. Later, Mrs. O recovered and regained her ability to walk. The story closed with Lee Do back on patrol, walking home hand in hand with the boy he saved, both smiling and full of hope. So the moral of the story is if a stranger offers you a mysterious box, do not open it. It's never snacks, it's always guns, trauma, and nationwide chaos.